Dear friends, this is the lecture number 4 of electromagnetic induction. In the previous lecture, we discussed about self-induction, how EMF is induced in a coil due to change in its own flux linked with it. That's why that is called as self-induction. Its own flux linked with the coil itself, and when that flux change, EMF is induced within it. So that's why that is called as self-induction. But today, what I am going to discuss, you will come to know after the analysis of also a small experiment. So now let's start. This is one coil. One coil is kept here, and this coil is connected with a cell with one key. One key is here. This is a cell, which provide direct current, direct constant current, and another coil is placed here. This is another coil. It is kept very close to the first coil with one galvanometer. This is a galvanometer. Now let's see what will happen if in the first coil switch is on, because here one source is connected, but here no source, nothing, only the coil is connected with a galvanometer, but here one source is connected. So now let's do the switch on. Switch on. Switch is here in the first coil. Its name I am writing 1, this name I am writing 2. So switch is on in the first coil. So immediately what happens when switch is on? Current increases. I have told you in direct current, when switch is on, current increase from its zero value to its maximum constant value. The time may be very small, maybe 1 nanosecond, but we'll discuss the physics behind that 1 nanosecond. Okay, that one also we'll discuss here. So current increases. When current increases, the magnetic field, this current I am writing I1 because this is first coil. Magnetic field also increases. The solenoid, the coil behaves like a magnet, so its magnetic field also increases. When its magnetic field increases, then the flux linked with itself increases. Its magnetic field, its lines of forces, the flux also linked with it, that increases. Then EMF is induced here, but we have already discussed that in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have already discussed how EMF is induced due to the change in magnetic flux linked with the coil itself due to change in its own magnetic flux. But today we will not discuss that one. We will discuss what will happen to this coil. When EMF is induced in this coil due to its change in current, then that is self-induction. But now let's see what happens to this coil, which is kept very close to its, or I can say neighbor. This is the neighboring coil. Neighbor, this is what happens. So flux linked with second coil. Flux is linked with second coil. Yes, because its magnetic field is present. When its magnetic field is present, that also extends to the second coil. And some flux is linked with the second coil due to the first coil. Flux is linked with the second coil due to the magnetic field of a first coil. Remember this one. Flux is linked to the second coil due to magnetic field of a first coil. So flux increases due to the increase in current in the first coil. Flux increases in the second coil. Okay? When flux increases in second coil, immediately Faraday comes with his first law. When there is change in flux, then there is EMF induced. So now EMF is induced in the second coil. Here EMF is induced? Yes. EMF is induced in the second coil. And if the EMF is induced and the circuit is closed, also current is induced. And you can able to detect that current by the help of this galvanometer. What a surprising thing, that when switch is on in the first coil, Galvanometer show deflection in the second coil without any connection between them. There is no connection between them. But when switch is on in the first coil, there is no connection, but galvanometer of second coil show deflection. Means current now pass in the second coil. This happens. It's a very surprising thing. So this is the property of two coils. This is the property of two neighboring coils. And this property is called as mutual induction. What is our topic today? That the mutual induction. So what is this mutual induction and why this is called as mutual induction? Why the name is mutual induction? Because if you will change the current in second coil, suppose this battery, this key, everything is connected in the second coil. If all these things are connected in the second coil and galvanometer is connected in the first coil, just reciprocate. Then when you do the switch on in the second coil, galvanometer show deflection will be in the first coil. The same thing will happen. In first coil you are changing current is induced in the second coil. But if in second coil you will change the current by connecting one cell, then also current will induce in the first coil. This one also I am showing to you by drawing a figure. Suppose this is the second coil. Here you connect one key and cell, and this is the first coil. So what happens in this first coil? If galvanometer is connected, this galvanometer show deflection when here switch is on. So when this coil current changes, here current is induced and pass. When in the second coil current changes, then here in first coil current induced and pass. Here this is the galvanometer. No cell is connected here, but still current pass. The similar situation, just reciprocate. Hence the name is given mutual induction. So what's the definition? It's the property of two coils. Self-induction is the property of a coil, one coil, but this is the property of two coils, by virtue of which when current changes in one coil, EMF is induced in the neighboring coil. Again I repeat, it is the property of two coils, by virtue of which when current changes in one coil, EMF is induced in the neighboring coil without any connection, nothing, but their current pass, which can be detected by the galvanometer. Is the property like this? That mutton is cooked in your neighbor's house, but smell is coming to you. You have no business with the mutton. Okay? But mutton is cooked in a neighbor's house, but smell is coming to you. And when mutton will be cooked in your house, what will happen? Your neighbors will smell. When mutton will be cooked in your house, also the smell will go to your neighbor's house. It's just mutual. So the property is just like that. Okay, not exactly similar, just I told you. Okay, so this is the mutual induction property. If you don't believe, then I can also show you now how this happens. Can you able to see now? This one you see. So this is a coil. Okay, and here I am applying now AC, alternating current. Why alternating current? You see, when DC is connected, at the time of a switch on, galvanometer show deflection, and at the time of switch off, galvanometer show deflection. At the time of switch on and switch off, but in between current is constant, so their galvanometer will show no deflection. So I have told you also in the previous lecture that when this is connected, then self-induction, maybe mutual induction, that property only you will observe at the time of switch on and switch off. But if AC is connected, in place of a DC it will connect AC always changes. So always it will show the property, and galvanometer always show the deflection. So mutual induction and self-induction, basically the alternating current when connected, then it is always that property we can able to see. So I have connected alternating current here. This is 220 volt home delivery supply alternating current. If I touch, then I will get a shock. Okay, so this is the coil. I have provided to this coil 220 volt AC. I am not provided. When I will do the switch on, then current will pass in this. Okay, so when I do the switch on, current will pass in this, but I am bringing another coil, very small coil, you see. This is the small coil. This is the small coil. But when this small coil, it has no connection with this one. No connection. I have also not connected any battery to it. It's just a coil. Okay, one LED is connected here. In place of galvanometer, I have connected one LED. If I will do switch on here, and if I place it, immediately what will happen? This bulb will glow. This bulb will glow. This is not connected to any source, no connection. But this bulb will glow due to mutual induction. You can able to mark this one now, you see. Now you could able to observe how the EMF is induced in one coil due to change in the magnetic flux in the neighboring coil. Okay, so this is the mutual induction property. But now let's come to its mathematical part. Mathematical part now will come. What happens? Here the flux linked with the second coil is directly proportional to the current pass in the first coil. The flux linked to the second coil is directly proportional to the current pass in the first coil. So now I will multiply one constant here, that is M21 into I1. M21. What is M21? What is M21 here? Coefficient of mutual induction, or we can say mutual inductance. Just like self-inductance, this is mutual inductance or coefficient of mutual induction. And if I tell you what is the SI unit of M21, same as your self-induction, that is Henry, and the CGS unit also same as self-induction, that is R Henry. Units and dimensions, everything are the same as self-induction. Then how much EMF is induced in the second coil when current change in the first coil? So EMF is induced in the second coil, E2 minus d phi 2 by dt. EMF is induced in the second coil. This is according to Faraday's second law. Then minus d by dt. In place of phi 2, now you connect here, now you write here M21 I1. So what we get here? Minus M21 dI1 by dt. This is the expression of EMF is induced in the second coil due to the current change in the first coil. Current change in the first coil. And similar thing also you will observe, if current change in the second coil, then EMF is also induced in the first coil. Just both reciprocal to each other. So M21 is equal to M12. Also we will see it while finding the M12 and M21 expressions for different systems. So, but M21 is equal to M12, just they reciprocate each other. So this is the mutual induction. But we will find now the mutual inductance for two coaxial solenoids. Now let's do for two coaxial solenoids. Let's take two coaxial solenoids. So this is suppose on this now. This is one solenoid. See, these are the turns of the solenoids. These are the turns of the solenoids. And take another solenoid here. Suppose it is like this. This is another solenoid. These are the turns of another solenoid. So one, the outer solenoid I have drawn by black ink, and the inner solenoid I have drawn by blue ink. So I hope you can able to observe it clearly how the solenoids are arranged, and it is called coaxial solenoids. Their common length is L, and the outer radius I am writing as R1, and the inner radius I am writing as R2. Okay, inner radius I am writing as R2, and here number of turns per unit length N1, and here number of turns per unit length is N2. So these are the parameters which are required for our derivation. So we will find mutual inductance for two coaxial solenoids. So first we will provide current to one solenoid, then we will see how much the flux is linked with the second solenoid. Then automatically the expression M21 comes out. This is the all total derivation. I will provide current to one solenoid, and I will see how much of flux is linked with the second solenoid. Then this is the derivation over. Only this much. You see. Now I will provide current I to the first solenoid. When current I pass through the solenoid 1, means outer solenoid. When current I pass through the outer solenoid, then what happens? What is the magnetic field? B1. What is the expression of magnetic field? Solenoid magnetic field expression. We have remembered in electromagnetism chapter, we have discussed in the applications of Ampere circuit law. Mu naught N1 I, mu naught N1 I, mu naught Ni. But if you write it for number of turns, total number of turns if you take, then N1L I. This is the magnetic field due to the outer solenoid. Then what is the flux linked with the inner solenoid? Phi 2. Flux linked with inner solenoid is phi is equal to BA cos theta. But for n number of turns, we have to see for total number of turns. Total turns is N2. This is number of turns for unit length small n, but capital N is total number of turns. So this is N2. I am taking N2 number of turns into BA cos theta. What's cos 0? Magnetic field and aerial vector are along the same direction. Okay, along the axis of the solenoid. So, but this B is of what? The magnetic field is of the first coil, because current is given to the first coil. So this is B1. But flux is linked with which coil? The inner coil. If inner coil, then this is A2. Try to understand this one. Magnetic field is of the first coil B1, but as flux we are finding with the inner solenoid, so we have to take this is A2. So this is N2. B1 expression you put here by L, then A2, then cos 0 is 1. So here the formula for phi 2 you can write M, the formula of phi 2 here, phi is equal to M21 into I. Just before I had written that one, okay, phi is equal to M21 into I. So now this is mu naught N1 N2 I by R2 square divided by L. Then I cancel here. I'll cancel now. I and I cancel. So then what is the expression? M21 we got mu naught N1 N2 by R2 square divided by L. So this is the mutual inductance expression in when EMF is induced in second coil due to first coil. The expression of mutual inductance. But if when current is provided to the inner coil, how much EMF is induced in the second coil, how much of flux is linked to the second coil, at that time what is the expression of a mutual inductance? If current is provided, I did this derivation providing current to the first coil, outer coil, then I found the EMF in the second coil, flux with the second coil. But now I will provide the current to the second coil, and I'll see. Second means inner coil, and I'll see the flux linked with the outer coil. Means I want to find the expression M12. What will be the expression of M12? If I tell M12 expression will be how much? Just look this expression and write M12 expression. M12 will be equal to, if a similar expression you write, mu naught N1 N2 pi N1 N2. If we change, then that remain N1 N2 pi. This is R2 square, but here it will be R1 square, because for the we are finding for the second coil, yet mutual inductance second coil due to the mutual inductance in first coil due to the second coil. Okay, so now R2 become R1 divided by M. This is M21, this is M12. Is it correct? What I had written here. Now you got it? Or any problem? Yes. One biggest mistake I have done here. Now the question is coming to your mind. So just before you told M21 should be equal to M12. But when we are writing the expression of M12, just bringing from here, then it will become R1, then it will become R2. So they are not equal. If they are not equal, then we will make them equal. Because I told you that M21 is equal to M12. So we will make them equal. We write here 2. We will write here 2. Now both will be equal. No problem. I have told that both will be equal. Now they are equal. Okay. So now the question is coming to mind. Sir, you can't do like this. You are just doing to prove yourself that M12 is equal to M21. You had told just before. So now the question is coming to your mind that to just make them equal, we'll convert the 1 into 2. We'll change the 1 into 2. No, not like that. We will not do. When we will do the derivation, automatically the 2 comes here. Automatically both will be equal. No 1, here 2 will come. If you want to know, I'm again doing, giving current to the second coil, inner coil, we'll see the flux linked with the outer coil. Now let's do. In short, I am doing here. So here I am doing. So now current is given to the inner coil. So what is the magnetic field? This is inner coil current. So second coil. So I wrote B2 here. So mu naught N2 I divided by mu naught N divided by L. Magnetic field expression when current is given to the inner coil N2. Then what is the flux linked? Flux linked I am writing here. What is the flux linked with the outer coil? Phi 1. So its turn, because on it flux is linked, its turn, but magnetic field is of the second coil, because current is given to the inner coil or second coil, and area of cross section also its turn, and this is cos 0. So it is coming N1 mu naught N2 I divided by L, cos 0 is 1 and A1. Magnetic field I wrote B2 mu naught N2 I divided by L, mu naught N2 I divided by L. Got it? Or in doubt? Got? I have done that mistake. I have done one biggest mistake here. Can you detect the what biggest mistake I have done here? Can you find? See yourself. You pause the video and see where I have done the mistake. You find the answer. After that you play the video. So your creativity will increase. What mistake I have done? So this A1, it will not be A1, this will be A2. Why A2? You see, current is given to the inner coil. You have given the current to the inner coil. I am showing here. This is the inner coil. You have given current to the inner coil, which radius is R2. Its radius is R2. You have given current to this one, and you are finding the flux with this one. You are finding the flux with this one, which radius is R1. With the outer coil, you are finding the flux. But when current is given to the inner coil, the magnetic field Current is now given to the inner coil. The magnetic field is only linked with the inner coil. The magnetic field remain only inside the solenoid. You just recall what we have discussed in the electromagnetism chapter. Just outside the solenoid there is no magnetic field, no magnetic field. No magnetic field here, no magnetic field here. It is confined within the solenoid. So, when you find the flux linked with the outer solenoid, you should take the area of the outer solenoid. You should take the area of outer solenoid, that is A1. But you cannot take here. Why? Because this area what we are taking always, that area is not only the how much area is there, that area is how much magnetic, within how much area magnetic field is there. Within how much area magnetic field is there. Area may be like this. Suppose a large area. Suppose large area is here. But if magnetic field, this area, suppose this is I will tell 20 centimeter square area is here. But magnetic field is up to how much? If magnetic field is up to this much, suppose this is only 5 centimeter square, only you have to take this area while calculating flux. If I tell to calculate flux with this 20 centimeter square, you cannot take the 20 centimeter square, you have to take only 5 centimeter square because magnetic field is confined within this 5 centimeter square. So, the question is asked here, we are calculating the flux with the whole cross-sectional area. With the whole cross-sectional area, but unfortunately magnetic field is not there. So, in these regions, in this region, I am showing now in red pen, in these regions there is no magnetic field. Here no magnetic field in region. Only it is confined within this region. So when I told to calculate flux with the whole area, though area is there, but you have to take only this small area as magnetic field is only present within the small area. So A2. So again you have to take only A2. Now you understand what biggest mistake we did here. So you have to take only A2. So when A2 will take, then automatically now you see this is mu naught N1 N2 I pi R2 square by L. And from this side M, this becomes M 1 2 into I. So now you see this I cancel and here R2 come. Now here R2 come in the expression. I hope you could able to understand why instead of R1 we will take R2, because its magnetic field only present within this much area of a cross section. It has large area, but there is no magnetic field in the whole area. In how much area magnetic field is there, you have to take only that much. So while calculating flux with the outer solenoid, you have to take also the area, their common area of the inner solenoid. So here we always tell that you have to take only the common area. So now you are confirmed that M12 is equal to M21. When I cancel from both sides. When I cancel from both sides, now you see both expressions are completely similar. So this is the mutual inductance to coaxial solenoids. The mutual inductance depends on which factors? This mutual inductance depends on which factors? So first, you from the expression you can able to see. I am writing the expression, then you can judge it. From the expression, mu naught N1 N2 pi R2 square divided by L. So first it depends on common area of a cross section. Common area of a cross section. Second, it depends on number of turns. Number of turns will be more, or number of turns per unit length we can say. Number of turns of unit length will be more, then mutual inductance also will be more. Also it depends on separation between the two coils. Separation between the two coils. Less is the separation, more is the mutual induction. More, when they will be close to each other, the mutual inductance will be more. More EMF will be induced when separation is less. Also, I can show you that separation in that previous experiment what I just show you before. The same one I can show you here. You have not marked that one. That when separation decreases, how this bulb how glows brightly. But when separation more, it glows slowly. When separation decreases, I will come it will close. Then separation will decrease and its brightness of the bulb will increase. You can mark it here. See clearly how this happens. So when the separation is more, the brightness of the ball is less, but when separation increases, the brightness of the separation decreases, the brightness of the bulb increases. So point number 4. Point number 4. Relative orientation of the coils. Orientation of the coils matter. Orientation of the coils. Orientation of the coils here. Suppose the coils, how they are oriented. If the coils are oriented like this, suppose this is one orientation. I am showing you now. This is the coil is on just on it, as if they have now same area for cross section. This is one orientation. This is another orientation. You see, second orientation I am showing here. This is first orientation. Second orientation you see. This is the one coil and this is another coil. Second orientation, this one. And you see the third orientation. One coil is like this, another coil is like this. This is the third orientation. In which case mutual inductance will be large. If we compare, so this case mutual inductance will be large, because maximum the flux linked with the first coil will be almost equal to the flux linked with the second coil in this case, and in this case little less, and in this case no mutual inductance, no EMF is induced in this case. Why no EMF is induced? You see, its magnetic field is in this direction, but its aerial vector is in this direction. Magnetic field is in that direction, aerial vector is this direction. What is the angle between them? 90 degree. So what is the flux? Due to the first coil, what is the flux linked to the second coil? BA cos 90. So it's 0. You may change the current in the first coil, but no flux is linked with the second coil. So what is the effect of changing current? So relative orientation of the coils also depends on the material. What material you are taking? If the two coils you will keep in soft iron core material, you will take as the core, or any ferromagnetic substance you will take as the core, then mutual inductance will increase mu r times. Relative magnetic permeability times mutual inductance will increase. Also depends on the core of the material. Depends on the core. So this is about the dependence of the mutual induction. So now we will find mutual induction, which is one NCERT book example, always comes in exam. This we can treat it also as a question. Mutual inductance of two circular coils, concentric circular coil. This is one coil, this is another coil. So this coil, now you take the first coil as radius R1 and the second coil as radius R2. Okay, but R1 we have to assume here R2 very less than R1. R1 is very large, R2 is very less, as if R2 is just present at the center of R1. As if R2 is just present at the center of R1. Keep in mind, this is given in the question. Okay, R2 is present as if at the center of R1. So now let's see, we will provide current to what? To R1 will provide current, to the outer coil will provide current. Then what is the magnetic field? B1. Center formula will put mu naught I by 2 R1. Because this coil is present at the center of this and it's a very small. Don't think that it is going away from the center, its area of process is spreading away from the center. For that I take this condition, otherwise you can do this one. Okay, so magnetic field at the center of this outer coil, outer circular coil is this much. Then what is the flux linked with the inner coil? I have taken no number of turns, only one turn is there. No, only one number of turns. Flux linked, first coil magnetic field, outer coil, and the area of second coil. As flux linked the second coil, so area will take up second coil. Then cos 0. Then cos 0, so B1 is mu naught I by 2R1. Then it is A2 is pi R2 square. Right? A2 is pi R2 square. So in place of phi 2 we can write M21. So mu naught pi R2 square by 2R1 into I. And you see so here phi 2 is M21 into I. This is M21 into I. Okay, phi 2 is equal to M21 into I. So I now cancel. M21 is equal to mu naught pi R2 square divided by 2R1. So this is the mutual inductance of the two concentric circular coils. So similarly is equal to M12. Similarly also M12 must be equal to M21. The similar thing also will happen here. So this is a NCERT book example which always comes as 2 marks derivation in exams. Another question also I am doing here. See another question. Another question sometimes comes in exam. Question is like this: to coaxial circular coils separated by distance d. Its radius is R1, its radius is R2. Find the mutual inductance between them. To coaxial circular coils, these are on the same axis but separated by distance d. And the condition is here. Condition is required. D is very greater than R1 and R2. Then what happened? Why I just use this condition? From this coil, when we look to this coil will you will feel it as a point because distance is very large, as if it is present on the axis of the first coil. And when from this coil you look to this coil, so as if it is present, as if it is a point and present on the axis of this coil. Okay, so now provide current to the first coil. What is the magnetic field on the second coil? B1. Which formula will be used here? Which formula? Magnetic field at any point on the axis. Application of a bad savatla. Mu naught by 4 pi 2 near, but number of turns 1, 2 near pi R1 square. Number of turns is 1. Then this R1 square plus D square to the power 3 by 2. Okay, radius square plus distance square to the power 3 by 2. This is the formula. But as R1 is very less than D, using this condition, this expression now is converted to this R1 square. We can omit from here. Okay, let's keep, and in the next step we'll do. So mu naught by 4 pi 2I pi R1 square divided by D cube. Okay, at a large distance. But in numerator I can't neglect. In multiplication you can't neglect any quantity, remember. But in addition you can neglect. So now using this condition, this converts to this. Then what is the flux linked with the second coil? Magnetic field of first, area of a second. So this is mu naught by 4 pi to I pi R1 square divided by D cube into pi R2 square. Pi R2 square. Okay. So mu naught by 4 pi to I pi R1 square by D cube. Complete. So now what happened here? So phi 2 is M21 into I. So I cancel. So M21 is equal to mu naught by, you can cancel 1 2 here. So here we can cancel 1 pi. Then then another pi also still remain here, pi r1 square r2 square divided by d cube, divided by d cube. I cancel, then pi cancel, 1 pi remain. Okay, so this is correct. I think this is correct expression, and this is also equal to m12. If you do m12 also, same expressions you will get. It's very clearly known that same expression also correct. m12 is equal to m21. This is the mutual inductance when that one circular coil, two circular coaxial circular coils. For two coaxial circular coils separated by some distance. This is also one important question to find mutual inductance. Another question is also in your NCERT book, that to find mutual inductance when current pass in one conductor, infinite straight conductor, and one square loop is placed of side A. This is square loop. A is the side. Find the mutual inductance for this system. This is one question from NCERT book exercise. Okay. So can you find? It involves now it involves integration. Little difficult. Why little difficult? Because when you write its magnetic field as a distance is spreading from this to this, so magnetic field also gradually decreases when you move from this point to this point. Magnetic field gradually, because its magnetic field formula, as this distance is given to you, what is given in the book I am taking, this is x. So its magnetic field formula, suppose any, I'll just write magnetic field formula, mu naught I by 2 pi r. R is any point. But this r varies from x. This side is x and this side is x plus a. This r varies from x to x plus a. So as r varies according to when r increases from this to this, when you move, magnetic field gradually decreases. So varying magnetic field we have to do only by integration method. So what we have to choose? Now let's take any point r. From this you take any point r. This is the magnetic field, and just at r you choose a cross section of this. Choose a cross section which spreads distance dr. Dr is the width of the cross section. You find the flux with this small cross sectional area, then you do the integration from x to x plus a. Here r is the variable. I introduced the variable here as r. So this is the magnetic field due to the conductor. This is 1 and this is number 2. Suppose you write magnetic field due to the first one. Then what is the flux linked with the small cross sectional area? Flux linked, that I can write d phi. Flux linked with the small cross sectional area d phi, I can write here that the magnetic field due to phi 2. Second coil I am writing. So this is B1 and that small area. Flux linked with only this red area, you see. So that is B1 into area. Area is how much? A into dr. This is a rectangle where this length is A and this width is dr. So A into dr. So this is d phi 2. B1 is mu naught I by 2 pi r A into dr. A into dr. This is d phi 2. But how will you get phi 2? Integrating both sides. Integrating both sides. D phi 2 integration will get phi 2 here, and here the integration will you do mu naught I 2 pi r A into dr, but here r varies from x to x plus a. X to x plus a. Then constants you take to outside, mu naught I by 2 pi a, all the constants I take to outside, the only variable is r here, 1 by r dr integration. But here d phi 2 integration is phi 2, but integration of 1 by r, so you already know the formula of integration, it is ln r. Ln r, 1 by x dx integration formula, ln x, so it is ln r, from x to x plus a. X to x plus a. So now you write, put the limits. If you put the limit, what we get here? Mu naught Ia by 2 pi. So ln x plus a minus ln x. You know, first upper limit we put, then minus sign, then we put lower limit. So, but this phi 2 is m21 into I. So, mu naught IA by 2 pi. So, this is ln x plus a by x. Ln a minus ln b is equal to ln a by b. Formula I use here. So, I cancel from both sides. So, m21 is equal to mu naught a by 2 pi. This is ln 1 plus a by x. 1 plus a by x. So, this is the mutual inductance formula for this question. One horse question from your NCERT book, you will see mutual inductance formula. And if you want to know that how much EMF is induced in this circular coil, when this coil moves with velocity v, when this coil moves with velocity v to the right side, moves with velocity v, constant velocity v, how much EMF is induced here? You can also find the EMF induced simply by doing the differentiation to which one? To the phi minus d phi 2 by dt. Flux, to the flux will do the differentiation. Okay, so minus d phi 2 by dt. You can do the differentiation here again, or you can write your formula that E is equal to, or you can induce EMF formula. You can also write the induced EMF formula to this one. You can do this one, or you can do minus m to 1 d I by dt. You can also use induced EMF formula to find how much EMF is induced here. Okay, so this is the mutual inductance of one straight conductor and one circular, and not circular, one square coil. Okay, square loop. So now let's come to the next part, that is the coefficient of a coupling. What is this coefficient of a coupling? One word. So coefficient of a coupling is a term. Coefficient of a coupling. What is this? This indicates the manner in which manner two coils are coupled with each other. In which manner? How two coils are coupled, that you can able to find by this quantity, coefficient of a coupling. And how, what is the expression of this coefficient of coupling? That coupling K is equal to M by L1 L2 root over. So this is the coefficient of a coupling. K is equal to M by L1 L2 root over. In which manner two coils are arranged, in which manner they are coupled, we can get from this. If the coupling is perfect, if a perfect coupling, then K is equal to 1. Which case? This case. This case. Just I show in the previous case that this case. When they are wound on the same core. Okay, here radius of both will be same, K is equal to 1. Perfect coupling. But if no coupling, suppose no coupling, then K is equal to 0. If no coupling, K is equal to 0. Then no coupling means this one. One coil is like this and another coil is like this. Here no coupling, so K is equal to 0. So value of K lies between 0 to 1. Value of K lies between 0 to 1. So this is about the coefficient of coupling. So one question from this I can give as homework. Sometimes this question comes in exam. That two coils are there, two coaxial coils. One is this coil, one is this coil. Two coaxial coils are there of a different area of a cross section. You can take it as A2, you can take it as A1. Area of a cross section different, two coaxial solenoids are there. You have to prove that. You have to prove that here K less than 1. You have to prove. K less than 1. What K I told you? I told you M by L1 L2 root over means less than 1. Means you have to prove M less than L1 L2 root over. Very easy question, not difficult. You write the expression of L1 for first coil, then L2 for second coil, then also you write the expression of mutual inductance for the two coils, and just you do L1 L2 root over, automatically you will get your answer. Very easy one. And I am giving you this as homework. You try this question from this mutual induction. So another question also I want to give you as homework. Another question is like this. Suppose this always comes in exam. Two coils are there. If between them, what space is left here? If I take one copper sheet, which sheet I will take? One copper sheet. What happens to their mutual inductance? This question also always comes in exam. If I take one copper sheet between them, what happens to the mutual inductance? So today we discuss about mutual induction. Thank you.